welcome back to special shout out to Peter. I know you're watching somewhere, and thank you to everyone else for tuning in to episode 11 of Beanbag Banter. It's been a little bit, but we're back and we have a lot to talk about. I will say today's episode is heavily MCU inspired. So we have a lot of MCU news to talk about. If you don't know what that is, that's Marvel Cinematic Universe. Come on, have you been living under a rock? What's going on? You've seen Avengers, right? You've seen Spider-Man. I've seen Your Mother Naked. I mean, like, what are we talking about? So yeah, a lot of MCU news. They had a panel in San Diego for Comic-Con. Some good things got announced. Obviously, I'm a little late to the party, but better late than never. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, Doomsday got a trailer not too long ago. Obviously, Spider-Man Brand New Day is out in theaters and going absolutely insane. I mean, it's already hit 1 billion in what, like 5 or 6 days? It's insane. And I want to start out this episode talking about Brand New Day a little bit because obviously it's kind of the biggest thing to happen in the last I don't even know. And I want to talk about it for one reason particularly before I even go into the movie and how I feel and blah blah blah. Before the movie came out, there was a lot of discourse about the numbers, right? About how much it was going to make on opening weekend and how much it was going to gross and blah, 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 whatever. A lot of people online, and I saw a lot of posts posting oh, okay, it's going to make 800 million in the opening weekend with previews and blah, blah, whatever. And I saw a lot of people hating on it, being like, there's no way, right? There's no way it's making that much money. There's absolutely no way. And now look, I mean, y'all can fucking kick rocks. I mean, what are we talking about? Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day hit 1 billion in 5 or 6 days. Like, what are we talking about? Anybody that truly in their heart of hearts ever thought that this movie wasn't gonna hit that number as fast as it did, I mean, you're just out of touch. I mean, there's no other explanation for it. You are truly out of touch. And yeah, I mean, it's doing great. I mean, it's doing amazingly. And big news, I'm actually seeing it well, for me, I'm filming this on Thursday. So I'm seeing it for the second time on Friday, which is the 8th. This video will be posted on Monday. So happy Monday to everybody. I'm gonna crack my back real quick. Oh, I'm getting old. Let's go ahead and actually talk to, I guess, for me, future Landon, and then for you guys on Monday, past Landon, after watching Spider-Man Brand New Day for the second time. It's still pretty good. Thank you, future past Landon, for that insight on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, I watched it in IMAX, or am watching it in IMAX. And can we say that is crazy that they're releasing it in IMAX and kind of, I guess, taking, spots or theaters for the Odyssey, which, is nuts. I mean, can we say, I'm excited. I'm gonna say that I'm very excited to see Spider-Man Brand New Day in IMAX. I mean, that sounds fucking great. We're gonna wait to get into Brand New Day because I have a lot to talk about it. We're gonna have a little spoiler-free section and then get into spoilers maybe towards the end. Yeah, we'll get into Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's start out with San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, there's a couple announcements that came out that are pretty big, to say the least. In my opinion, the most potential, or the biggest, I guess, announcement in my opinion, I don't know, Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. I mean, that's insane. To have him as Ghost Rider and to have a movie coming out after Secret Wars into the MCU with Sean Levy to direct, and I've seen a lot of discourse about Sean Levy and his abilities to direct and how people feel about him directing this Ghost Rider movie. I'm not super scared of Sean Levy going into Ghost Rider. I think he could do it. A lot of Sean Levy's movies, particularly like Deadpool and Wolverine, they were fun, right? Deadpool and Wolverine, say what you want about it, but it's fun. It's a fun movie, and I think Sean Levy did okay. I think you can't really take that movie against him because a lot of that movie was Ryan Reynolds being heavily involved and making a lot of the writing decisions and whatnot, and Sean Levy obviously had his say in it, obviously, but I don't know. I'm gonna wait to see like a trailer, see anything for the movie before I become like super skeptical off rip. So yeah, Sean Levy to direct, Ryan Gosling to star. I mean, that is so fun. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he is super likable and very fun. And he's been petitioning for this role for a while. For interviews for Barbie and for fucking Project Hail Mary. Like, he's been saying for probably 4 or 5 years at this point, give or take, that he's wanted to play Ghost Rider, or at least wanted to join the MCU and potentially play Ghost Rider. So to see that is the case is very fun. And I'm very excited for that. I think that's probably, like I said, in my opinion, the most exciting announcement from San Diego. Obviously, the other kind of big announcement would be Black Panther 3. Ryan Coogler is back to direct, and they have David Johnston to star as T'Challa Jr. And I will say I haven't seen David Johnston in like The Long Walk or Alien Romulus. I think Alien Romulus. There we go. I have not seen him in those movies. I've heard nothing but good things, though, and I think the resemblance is pretty uncanny. I do think he kind of looks like Chadwick Boseman's son to like a certain degree. I think that definitely is a great casting, and I will have to watch The Long Walk and Alien Romulus. I can't say that word. Romulus. What is a Romulus? Has anybody really fucking asked that before? Romulus. I'll have to watch him in those movies. Like I said, I haven't seen him, but I think visually he's a good casting, and obviously Ryan Coogler coming off of Sinners is huge, and he also announced for Black Panther 3 that it will be entirely shot on film, which is very interesting, and I want to go out on a limb and say that is going to be the first MCU movie ever completely shot on film, which is exciting. It's a visual improvement, in my opinion. I think going from digital to film has its pros and cons, and I think Ryan Coogler definitely is a good advocate for that, and he knows what he's talking about. So I think it's going to be cool. I mean, obviously it comes out after Secret Wars, and we have a lot of we have a lot of things to discover through Doomsday and Secret Wars to kind of plan for Ghost Rider and for Black Panther 3, but I think it could be fun. And I don't think Shuri's going to die in Secret Wars, but I don't know what they're going to do with her character, because she is technically Black Panther now, so I don't know if they're just going to kind of fucking wipe her off the planet, if they're going to kind of transition her into a different character, or if they're going to be 2 Black Panthers running around. I'm not quite sure, but it's interesting to say the least, and I am excited for Black Panther 3. And I mean, really, for San Diego Comic-Con, that was the only 2 big announcements. They had the Doomsday cast come in, and they actually did show a Doomsday trailer, right? I guess a second trailer that they'll release later in the year, obviously before release. And I saw the leaked footage for the new Doomsday trailer, and I think it was 10 times better than the first trailer. We'll get into the first trailer for Doomsday and my thoughts and just my opinions about that movie and what I kind of feel about it. I've had some time to sit on it and really gather my opinions, but that second trailer seemed so much more focused and so much more like deliberate. It was like 10 times better, in my opinion. I mean, obviously the quality was shot on a fucking toaster. I could not see anything that was going on in the trailer, but you could kind of visualize it, and obviously a lot of the audio gave away what was going on screen. And yeah, if you haven't seen like any of that, if you don't know what I'm talking about whatsoever, I guess you'll have to wait till it comes out or just look online. I'm sure it's on TikTok or fucking Twitter or whatever. But yeah, and I guess anybody that was at Comic-Con saw it, so that's exciting. Definitely drop some comments down below if you saw it in person. I mean, that's insane. Let me know what your thoughts for that second trailer were. But for the first trailer, I'm skeptical. If you want to be honest, that's really my main thing going into Doomsday. Like, I just think they're trying to juggle too many things at once, and realistically, going into Doomsday, there's so many questions compared to answers. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to approach certain things. Like, how are they going to explain that Robert Downey Jr. is Doomsday? We have no explanation for that. How are they going to make him seem like this big bad that is an Avengers level threat. It's just a lot of setup for this movie, and I want to say, I think the official runtime came in at below 3 hours. I think it's like, I don't know, it's like right below. It's like 250 something or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, it has to be. It has to be. There's so much that you have to cover. And I think that first trailer, like I said, it opened up more questions. I mean, you have Steve coming back, which is just so mind-boggling to me, and they're really gonna have to come up with a good explanation for it. It just can't be like, look, man, we have Doomsday here, or Doom rather. We have Doom here, and he's really fucking powerful, and you know, we could really use you wielding Mjolnir and kick his ass, you know. We need something more than that, you know. And I fully expect that they're gonna have an explanation for everything, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't know the explanation yet. So I don't know. I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know anything about Doomsday. I think there's, like I said, more questions than answers, and there's a lot of question marks for the entire movie. You know, they're juggling the X-Men as well. They're having characters like Shang-Chi, who has only had one movie and a couple cameos. Don't get me wrong, I like Shang-Chi. I like the movie. It was fine. Like, I definitely need to rewatch it, but it was fine from what I remember, and I think the actor that plays him, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he does a great job, and I am excited to see him in Doomsday, and I'm excited to see Yelena and the Thunderbolts, and you know, I like Sam Wilson as Captain America. Like, I like the characters, obviously, but a lot of these characters, this is not only the first time that they're ever interacting with each other, but this is the first time they're ever going to be like in a big team. Like, Thunderbolts was great, but they dealt with something that can only be dealt with the way that they could have dealt with it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. It's a big step up for even them, and you know, the big potato stuff, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm skeptical about Doomsday, and I think it definitely could be good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm interested to see what they have to offer there. And like I said, that second trailer definitely sold me a little bit more than the first trailer, but you know, my opinions could change, obviously. I think once I see the second trailer in fucking 4K Ultra Vision and 70 millimeter, I don't know. But anyway, let's go into a couple things. Obviously, we have Brand New Day to talk about, and my preparations going into Brand New Day was to rewatch all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. So obviously that includes Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. So I watched each of those before going into Brand New Day to kind of refresh my memory, to really like go into Brand New Day with all of the prior knowledge of these movies, and to really like remind myself how good they were. Because before rewatching them, I always told myself, like, I fucked with every single one. Like, I loved Homecoming. I liked Far From Home. No Way Home is great. Like, I didn't have anything bad to say about those movies, and I will say, luckily, I don't think I really have much bad things to say about them after rewatching. So, Homecoming, the first, Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, is so good. Oh my god, that was one of my favorite movies when it came out. Like, I loved Homecoming when it came out, and rewatching it recently really reminded me like how much I love Homecoming. I think it's so good. And this is my shameless plug to promote my Letterboxd. If you have not followed me on Letterboxd yet, yeah, that's that's my name on it. Hey, that's my name on Letterboxd. It's the same name as everywhere else. And definitely go check out some of my reviews. I've been trying to rewatch a lot of stuff and watch new stuff as well. But yeah, Homecoming, I love it. I think it's so good. I think it's very fun and unique to have it like so derivative of 2000s high school movies, you know what I mean? To have that feel and to have that charm, it's so good. And obviously a big criticism for Homecoming that I hear more than once is that, like, oh, Spider-Man doesn't do anything. He's fucking Iron Man Jr. I don't care, bro. Like, this is the MCU. This is the MCU, and it's like, look, you could have done Spider-Man and brought him into the universe and done exactly what the Sam Raimi movies did, exactly what fucking Andrew Garfield movies did. Like, you could have done that. You know what I mean? You could have had fucking Uncle Ben getting shot and murdered and fucking murked, and you could have had him fully in New York and whatever. Like, you could have written a story like that, and it probably would have worked. But I'm so appreciative that they didn't do that. I'm a believer that the changes that they made in Homecoming and the story beats that they decided to go with just fit the universe a little bit better, fit the character a little bit better, and made it so much more interesting and obviously different. And I loved it. I thought Liz Allen was so good, and obviously her twist is great, is really, really good. A lot of the action that goes on. I mean, that final fight where he's in his original suit and fights Vulture, takes down the plane and fights him and fucking saves him at the end, him in the rubble. Like, Homecoming is so good, and I can't do anything lower than a 9 out of 10. I depending on when you ask me, honestly, Homecoming could be a 10 out of 10. I fucking love that movie. I think it's really, really good. And genuinely, I don't know if I have any glaring issues. Like, there might be minor things if I were to rewatch it even again, but I also think it's very rewatchable as well. I love Homecoming. My official ranking is like a 9 out of 10. But like I said, depending on when you ask me, could be a 10. Next, obviously, would be Far From Home. And jumping from Homecoming to Far From Home was a little weird because obviously there's a lot that happens in between. You have Homecoming, and then you have like Infinity War, Endgame, and then Far From Home. So there's a lot that happens in between. Obviously, you know, Tom Holland Spider-Man has the Iron Spider suit and has you know, Tony Stark's death and a lot of different changes, and it's not like as seamless as some sequels could be, but I don't think that's a detriment to it at all. I think Far From Home is still very fun. A lot of people shit on this movie and say that it's really fucking bad and it's one of the worst MCU movies. I think that's bullshit. I think there's a lot of movies in the MCU that are way worse than Far From Home. And while I do think, yeah, it's probably one of the worst Spider-Man movies, it's still like a 7 out of 10. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Maybe, just maybe, like you could go down depending on how you feel. And like, I don't know, Far From Home is one of those movies where I enjoy it, but it's very evident to me why somebody wouldn't enjoy it. I think the praises that I sung for Homecoming, where it's like they made these unique changes, and I appreciate that from them. I think they took that from Homecoming and put it towards Far From Home and kind of overdid it a little bit. The idea in my Letterboxd review, I'm trying to like remember what I said in my reviews, but I do remember me saying for Far From Home, I do think like the idea of Spider-Man fighting out of America and out of New York City and going somewhere else to, you know, fight a big bad is cool and an interesting concept and something that I would love to see. But I think they tried to juggle a little bit too many locations. I mean, you have fucking how many, like you have like 4 or 5 different locations that they jump from. I mean, they go from fucking Prague to London, and then other place. I can't remember off the top of my head. They do go to a lot of different spots, and obviously he's in like the Netherlands for a little bit, like not a long time, but there's a lot of different places that he travels to, and I think it does kind of it takes away from it a little bit for sure. But I do like Far From Home. I think it is fun. There's a lot of good jokes. Arguably, it might be funnier than Homecoming. Arguably. There's a lot of really good jokes in Homecoming, but I think Far From Home has a lot of niche little reactions to people's lines and like little jokes that stack up, and I think Far From Home is very funny. I didn't really talk about Vulture for Homecoming. He's great, but Mysterio for Far From Home, again, I like him. I think he's fine. Jake Gyllenhaal is great. I think he did as well as he could. But it's another one of those things where I can understand why somebody wouldn't like him. You know, it's like in Homecoming, you took his association with Tony Stark and you had that play a role in the story, and I think it wasn't too overwhelming. Like it was just enough. But Far From Home took it a little bit too far. Like, no pun intended. It was a little too far. And like I said, I think it's still a 7 out of 10. I enjoy it. I think it's a great time. It's one of those movies I'll pop on every once in a while. There's some really good moments, scattered in between. The Mysterio, like, scenes where he's in Peter's head and having these illusions kind of take over. are very good. I want to say, for the first two movies, Homecoming and Far From Home, I know I'm very much harping on these, but I want to give my in-depth reviews. For Homecoming and Far From Home, another big criticism that people say about these movies is that the CGI on the suits is so egregious and it's really bad and so noticeable, and the suits look terrible. I think the suits look fine, bro. Like, what are we talking about? The CGI is not bad. Yes, a practical suit looks better, but it's not fucking terrible. Like, I don't know why people got that. I think like somebody said it once and people just started fucking running with it, and it pisses me off because it really does not look that bad. Now, No Way Home, there's some bad scenes in No Way Home when it comes to the CGI and the suits in there. I'll give you that. It's still not terrible, you know, and we'll get into No Way Home now. I like No Way Home. I'm gonna say that. I feel like I started that out kind of feeling like I was gonna start shitting on it, but no, No Way Home is super, super fun. Obviously, the cat's out of the bag. Like, all three Spider-Men are on the big screen together. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, like all together in one movie with villains from their respectable or their respected universes, and it's great. There's a lot of really, really good things. The Aunt May death scene is great. Very moving. The scene with them three on, I believe, the top of the school. I think it's like the rooftop of the school or whatever, where they're all talking about losing someone, like right after the Ant-Man scene. Like that section right there, holy shit. Where they're all talking together and Andrew Garfield's like, you know, Gwen, that was my MJ. And Toby was like fucking talking about Uncle Ben, and that was great. Like, there's really, really good moments in No Way Home, and I think the final battle's fun, and a lot of the banter in between is fun. Doctor Strange is cool. I will say Doctor Strange feels really out of place for parts. I think like his role in the movie makes sense and obviously like somewhat needed for the story, but I think he's really like out of character. And I said this in my Letterboxd review. I remember when this movie came out, and even in the trailers, I think like people were saying like Doctor Strange is really fucking out of character. Like I don't know like what's going on with him. Like, I don't know why there's such a distinct like characterization issue there. I don't know. I think he just makes like really odd decisions in the movie, and it does seem a little out of character for him, especially like after Endgame and Infinity War and stuff. But I think Multiverse of Madness was afterwards, yeah. But yeah, I think No Way Home is great. A lot of the issues that I have with the movie actually kind of stem from the villains. So I like the villains overall. I think Green Goblin is great. I mean, Willem Dafoe is amazing. I mean, what can you say? He's great as Green Goblin, great as Norman, great as just that character, and will forever have some of the best fight scenes with Spider-Man. Like, that one in the apartment building is so good, and obviously it leads up into like that again. That whole section is great, and you know, Alfred Molina is great. I think my main issue with that movie is Electro. Again, like I love Electro's redesign. I think he looks good. He looks better than he did in TASM 2, but I think the explanation for him looking different was really just kind of like not good. You know, obviously he was brought into this universe and he sucks in the power from this universe, and obviously his electricity changes from the blue to the yellow, and he even says like, oh, dude, this fucking energy feels great, like whatever. And that's kind of it. That's like kind of their explanation to why he looks different and why he even is acting different. And I don't know. I didn't really buy that. I thought it's kind of like why. I feel like we could have came up with something. And there's a big plot hole with Electro as well. This obviously been brought up before. One of the big things for the villains is like they knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker before coming in to this movie. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, when the fuck did Electro know that Spider-Man was Peter Parker? When the fuck did that happen? I think they just genuinely couldn't get Dane DeHaan, maybe. I don't know, like, because that would have made sense, right? That plot hole wouldn't have been there. Like, you know, Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker, but Electro did not. Like, what are we talking about? That's kind of a big plot hole to have, especially it's like, oh, like, these guys were brought here because of this reason, and it's like one of them that doesn't apply for, so how the fuck is he here? So I don't know, it just felt like kind of a bad excuse to bring him into the movie, and he had some cool scenes, but I definitely do think a lot of their dialogue for Electro, and even Lizard to a certain degree, was like kind of cringe. Other than that, I do like No Way Home. I think it's fun. I don't think it's as great and amazing as people chalk it up to be. I think some people are really, really high on this movie, and I give it like an 8 out of 10. I think No Way Home is fun. There's some really, really good moments. Obviously, obviously some great action, great fight scenes. Tom Holland is so good, and you know, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Anything above that, I think some of the issues that I have with it are definitely pretty daunting. But let's get into Brand New Day, man. Let's get into Brand New Day because it just feels like a big fucking thing on my shoulder. A lot to talk about. Obviously, I've said it before. I'm going to rewatch it tomorrow in IMAX. It's so exciting. I think that's going to be really fun. And we'll go into my spoiler-free review for Brand New Day. So obviously, it's been out for a little bit. It's already made a fucking $1 billion. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. What are we talking about? Go see it. Get a friend, get your mom, get your dad, go see it. It's great. I really enjoyed Brand New Day. I thought it was very good. I think arguably is probably one of the best looking Spider-Man movies. Arguably one of the best looking MCU movies. The camera looks great. It looks clearer than ever, if that makes sense. And I think the lens that they used for this movie captures just everything differently, and it has such a different feel to it. The soundtrack is great. I've been seeing a lot of love for Steve Lacy and Tame Impala recently because of their influences in the movie, and that's great. I think the soundtrack is fun. I think, you know, I've been seeing this a lot recently. The action in the movie is so good. Dustin Daniel Cretton. That's his name. He's the one that directed Shang-Chi. So him coming into Spider-Man is great. I mean, that was a great idea. If that was Kevin that did that, thumbs up to you. Yeah, great director, great direction, and really good movie, man. I think for anybody, like I said, that hasn't seen it, go see it, man. What are you doing? Come back to the video once you have seen it. But my official review for it, number-wise, before getting into spoilers, is a 9 out of 10. After first viewing, right? After first viewing, a 9 out of 10. I think it was really good. I think the only thing that I could see people maybe bringing it down for would be the story. I think the story definitely is like different, and it's an interesting story. I think in the grand scheme of Spider-Man, like there's a lot of other things that you could have done. And you know, let's get into spoilers. So spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. If you have not seen it, I want to get my toes out, but my toes are kind of ugly. I'll look like Spider-Man. I want to see it in the bathtub. Yeah. Is that pretty uncanny or what? Here, I'll just... No, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, yeah, Brand New Day, it's really good. I think the story for me is fine. I think the story is fine. I don't think the story was bad, in my opinion. I think it definitely was a lot, and it was an interesting story to go with for a Spider-Man movie, because, Jean Grey is in the movie. Yeah, there you go. Jean Grey is in the movie. She's introduced and is very much an antagonist in the movie. She's very evil, does some very evil things, some very questionable things, and is very much like a bad person, like not good person at all. She's lost her sister. She realizes that Damage Control killed her sister in these experiments, and to have Damage Control as a villain as well is an interesting choice. And you know, shout out to the Escape Pod. I've been fucking binging y'all recently. Holy shit, I've been binging the fucking Escape Pod recently. I had to sit up to talk about this. Alex, he was saying, he was like, you know, to have Damage Control and Jean Grey be the two main villains for a Spider-Man movie in 2026 is crazy. And it is, like, that is crazy, especially since you have Spider-Man with arguably the best rogues gallery. Like, to have those as the villains and to have this story play out when you have so many other options and so many other avenues, especially when you have this fresh start, right? To have it like this is interesting. But I mean, obviously it kind of, you know, is part of the MCU. Like, it can't completely be its own thing. It has to be connected to the MCU. It has to have those ties. It has to have those leads, you know. So obviously Jean Grey being in it leads into X-Men. You have Hulk being in it and his scenes and him actually being fucking Hulk. Can we have a round of applause for that? Holy shit. I think Hulk in the movie was really good. To have him actually be Hulk again, like hulked out fucking Hulk and huge, and have a fun fight with Spider-Man. Like, I think that was fun. I didn't really have too many complaints with it. I know some people were saying that it got bitched out at the end, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I thought it was fun. Yeah, there's just so much in the movie. There's a lot going on. You have the Jean Grey stuff, and then you realize her origin story and why she's doing what she's doing, and now Damage Control is doing these experiments on her, and you know, we're coming in. Punisher is in the movie. You have the whole subplot with MJ and Ned. There's a lot going on, and I'm not saying that as a negative. I think it is actually balanced pretty well. It is a long movie. It's like 2:30, I believe, and I don't think it really feels that long. The pacing is pretty good, and it does speed along and keep you interested throughout the whole movie. But I gotta say, Punisher is so good. I loved John Bernthal in this movie. So fucking good, bro. Like, he has some good speeches, and I know it's really dumb, but one of my favorite scenes, and it was so fucking funny, when he got shot, and after he got shot, and he's in the hospital, and Spider-Man's outside, he's leaving, he's, you know, trying to get out of the hospital or whatever, everyone's outside, and he has this beautiful scene where he's like, he's a kid, and he throws at him or whatever, and it's very good. And you see Punisher with the fucking mask on and shit. You see him in the window from like the ground perspective, and you see him in the window, he's like, whatever, but then you cut to like him in the room, and he's like, bro, that shit killed the fuck out of me when I was in the theater. That shit was so funny, and it's like little shit like that really gets me, and I thought Punisher was great, bro. I really thought he was very funny, had some really good scenes, and was a great accomplice with Spider-Man, bro. And it makes me so excited to see Daredevil and Spider-Man eventually. I think that's going to be really fun and really great. That's very exciting. You know, maybe we'll see that in Secret Wars. I'm not quite sure, but I give the movie a 9 out of 10. I think it was really good. I think the story was good for me. Again, kind of how I feel about Far From Home, where it's like, you know, I can kind of understand where somebody might not feel the same way, but for me, I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed all the characters. I think it looked really good. I will say, going into things that I didn't like, because I'm singing a lot of praises for the movie, the CGI at points was iffy. I think a lot of the swinging scenes, especially with like MJ and shit, were iffy. There was a couple spots in some fights where like you can tell that it was just kind of fully, you know, whatever. You know, so that's sprinkled throughout. I've seen differing opinions when it comes to that. I've seen some people say that the CGI is great, and some say it's what I think it's all right. But I will, you know, even though I say that it's one of the best looking Spider-Man movies and MCU movies in total, there are a lot of scenes that are pretty gray. I think a lot of the cityscapes are pretty gray. I don't know if I'd consider it a big negative, but it is overly gray. Like, they're, especially in the beginning. Oh, perfect segue. Holy shit. In the beginning, when you're like first seeing Peter, and you have this kind of 4-year jump where he's checking up on Ned and MJ, and he's kind of doing whatever, you have these scenes with Tarantula and Scorpion and Tombstone. Oh my god, I wish we had Tombstone a little bit more in this movie. I think that would have been great. And I also think that it would have been really cool to see Feast. Like, we didn't see Feast at all, and we didn't see Happy. And I think we, you know, in that kind of span where, you know, we're shooting through these 4 years, like, I think it would have been cool to have a scene where Peter is like maybe going to the feast and helping out, and, you know, kind of being a part of the city, and he sees Happy there, and Happy is helping out and shit, and could have been really cool to kind of set up Mr. Negative, to have him now running Feast. Maybe he lies and he's like, you know, or you see him, you have a scene where he's in there, right? You see him, maybe he's not even talked to or mentioned or whatever, but you see him, and it's like you blink and you miss it kind of thing. And then maybe in the next movie, it's like Peter knows, like, he didn't know MJ, like, I don't know who he is, but he's parading around being like, I knew, or not MJ, Aunt May, sorry. He's like, yeah, I knew May, you know, I was really close with her, and Peter knows, like, no, you fucking weren't. You're fucking, like, who the fuck are you? And I think Mr. Negative would just be so good. I'm sorry. I just think Mr. Negative in live action would be so fucking fun. And I think they could have added that very easily in that kind of 4-year span. I think I would have loved to see more Tombstone. That would have been great. More Scorpion too. I do think they advertised Scorpion a little bit too much for how little he was in the movie. I mean, he had, what, 2 fights? I don't know. Like, he just kind of didn't do much. So that was disappointing. I definitely wish that he got a little bit more runtime and a little bit more shit to do, but overall, you know, maybe he'll come. I don't know, but yeah, I think they could have maybe did something there. Obviously, the grayness in some of those scenes was an issue for me as well. But yeah, let me know what you think about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and if you've seen it, how many times have you seen it? Are you going to go see it in IMAX? I think that's very cool that they're bringing it to IMAX and giving people that opportunity. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for Brand New Day. Maybe I'll update my opinion on it after my second viewing, but as of right now, on Thursday, April 4th, August 7th. Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. And Another thing that is not 9 out of 10, is just kind of trying to segue into whatever. I also rewatched the Captain America trilogy, right? So First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. I've been needing to rewatch these movies and take some time and talk about those movies real quick. I'll be kind of brief since, we have a hot takes to do, and yeah, I didn't even say anything about that, by the way. That was my first mention of it. We're doing hot takes, but MCU hot takes, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Captain America movies, for example, the first Avenger, I watched it. I thought it was fun. I haven't seen that movie in a pretty long time, and I want to say that me watching it recently was probably like the second or third time I've ever seen it. I really had a preconceived notion that the movie was like, it was all right, but going into it and watching it, I really fucked with it. I thought it was pretty solid. Don't get me wrong, I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's like crazy, but I do definitely have a soft spot for World War II movies and that whole setting and theme and that feeling, you know what I mean? And it definitely very much is a period piece, and I love that. I think that was great. It loves a great montage. I think there's like fucking 3 or 4 montages throughout the whole movie, and it was fun. It was, around the third one, I was like, okay, what are we, like, holy shit. Yeah, the first Avenger was fun. 7 out of 10. I think Chris Evans is great, and I think him skinny in the beginning of the movie was very off-putting. So fucking off-putting. I remember, like, watching it, I was like, oh my god, like, it just, like, it's so uncanny where I couldn't take it seriously. Like, obviously I could sit there and be like, oh, that's CGI, but like, they had an actor step in and play the body, and they just, replaced the face or whatever, but it's so uncanny, very odd, very weird. It was really pulling me out at some points, but I'm not docking points for that, obviously. And obviously next after that would be Winter Soldier. A lot of people tout this movie to be like one of the best in the MCU. They think that it's top 5, top 3, whatever. Winter Soldier is the best fucking movie to touch the world. A lot of people love Winter Soldier, and I will say I'm high on Winter Soldier as well. Maybe not as high as everybody else, but I do think it was very fun. I don't know what the fuck just hit my face, but I thought it was very fun. It was very, I don't want to say it was different, you know what I mean? A lot of things I hear about Winter Soldier, one of the main things I hear actually, is how it's like this crime, espionage, thriller, and it's like genre-wise, very different from anything else in the MCU, and it's like very distinct. And like, yeah, I guess parts of it are, but it is very much still a superhero movie. Like it ends with 3 helicarriers getting blown out of the sky and Captain America fighting a dude with a metal arm. Like, it's very much still a superhero movie with some politics rolled in there and some shenanigans, right? So I like Winter Soldier. I think it was good. I give it an 8 out of 10, right? I'm not as high. I know most people give it 9, 10 out of 10, whatever. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think it was fun. I have to say this. I have to, because it was so just apparent while watching it. Scarlett Johansson in that movie is so bad. Holy shit. Look, I have a girlfriend. I love my girlfriend so very much. But watching this movie reminded me why I had such a huge crush on Scarlett Johansson growing up. Holy shit, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot. It was distracting at some scenes. I was like, dude, wow. Yeah, young me would have. I'm love that movie, and I don't know how many times I've seen that movie. I didn't really remember a lot for Winter Soldier, so rewatching it was very needed and very good. I liked it. It was 8 out of 10. I liked Winter Soldier. I think it was great, and I think for Civil War, I liked it even more. What can I say about Civil War that hasn't already been said? You have the introductions to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, to Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, rest in peace. Very simply, Civil War is a 10 out of 10 movie. It is so good. Everything about it is great. The airport scene, fight scene is great. You have this great dynamic between Iron Man and Captain America and their ideologies clashing. It's great. The things that people say to Winter Soldier about how it's like this genre bending thing and it's like so different. I think Civil War took a lot of what they say Winter Soldier is. It took a lot of those aspects and made it even better. Like, I think a lot of the General Ross like scenes where they're talking politics and they're talking these Sokovia Accords and really like breaking that shit down is very interesting, and it's cool to see like each person's perspective on it and how they feel about it and watch them talk about about it and really dive deep into their thought process, I thought Civil War did that very well. And it still feels like a superhero movie, obviously. But I think the Russo brothers just stepped their game up tenfold, going from Winter Soldier to Civil War. Like, so good. I think the Russo brothers undoubtedly are the best comic book directors of all time. And Civil War was their first, like, just... Oh my God. Civil War is a 10 out of 10. It's no doubt in my mind. Like, it's so good. Flows really well. The pacing's great. The action is great. The characters are so good. And it's good. It's great. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Civil War. I really don't. Like, it's just so good. And I think a lot of people that sit there and they say, like, I don't really consider it a Captain America movie. Like, it is. It's a Captain America movie. Captain America Civil War. Like, it's very much still centered on Captain America and his relationship with Bucky and what Captain America will do for Bucky and that whole relationship and just having all these other kind of MCU heroes tied in as well. So it was very good. But yeah, that's my opinions on the Captain America trilogy, my opinions on Brand New Day and that trilogy as well. Let's go ahead and get into some hot takes. Let's go ahead. I have the Pulisic cup again, so the intro, I might have to fucking update the intro or something because I'm kind of sticking to the Pulisic cup. But let's go ahead and have a bowl of hot takes.
Hot takes, bitch, what you gon' say? Hot takes, hot politics, every other Monday. Every other Monday.
All right, so I don't know how many I have in here. I wrote these down before filming, and some of these are a little bit more twisted and crazy and out of fucking control than some of the other ones, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's do this one. Looked like I was really fucking fisting that shit. First hot take, I don't even know if this would really be a hot take, really just more of a very personalized opinion. Nova, and I guess / Nova Corps, needs to be introduced into the MCU after Secret Wars. So the Nova Corps were introduced in, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy, but I do think Nova as a hero needs to be introduced after Secret Wars. I think that's something that they are seriously missing out on. And I would love to have Nova in the MCU. He's, in my opinion, growing up, like one of my favorite, like, looking superheroes. It wasn't until recently where I really started reading the comics and getting into his character a little bit more, where I was like, yeah, bro, Nova's fucking sick. And I think MCU, like I said, is really dropping the ball when it comes to the Nova Corps. Like, bro, you introduced them, you had them in Guardians of the Galaxy, and now you've done nothing with them. I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand how that could even be a possibility and why they're still disrespecting my boy, bro. Like, disrespecting my boy. I also saw, what's his name? I should know this. I should really know this. It's the guy who played Steve Harrington in Stranger Things. He's a singer. Dijo? I'll pop it up on screen. Anyway, he played Steve Harrington. I saw something online like a while ago, like a fan casting for Nova, and they fan casted him in the role, and I think it'd be a different role for him for sure. But I think he could do it. I think it'd be interesting to have him doing that role. Anyway, next hot take. All right, the MCU's future is way brighter than the DCU's as of right now. So the DCU, what do they have coming up? Obviously, Man of Tomorrow, Clayface, fucking Jimmy Olsen. Bro, I don't know. Like, DCU, I don't want to say they're dropping the ball. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that quite yet. I'm excited for Clayface. I'm ecstatic about Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow. And a lot of what they will release, I will obviously probably enjoy, other than Supergirl. But I think, obviously, as of right now, MCU has a brighter future. I mean, you have Doomsday right around the corner. You have Secret Wars after that. You have Ghost Rider now. You have Black Panther 3. Blade got canceled, so we don't have Blade. But what else do you have? I think you have season 2 of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I believe that's in production. I could be wrong saying that. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of what MCU has going on, obviously Avengers Secret Wars is big, and Doomsday is big as well, so that helps it quite a bit. But I think DCU is really dropping the ball when it comes to just fucking dropping shit, bro. Like, they're announcing anything that's, like, relatively big. Like, oh, they have Lanterns. They have Lanterns coming out. I'm okay with that. Like I'll watch it, obviously, but I'm not jumping up with joy for that one. Now, there's one in here that I kind of want to say because it's really quite a hot take. I could just do all of them low-key, but let's do this one. Let's see what this one is. Okay, Deadpool should appear in Avengers movies, but overall should be separate from most of the other properties, or most of the other kind of like movies or projects or whatever. I agree. Wow, no shit. I think Deadpool should obviously be in like Secret Wars. You know what I mean? He should have a role in that movie and be a part of it. But I just think as a character, he works better as his own thing. You know what I mean? Give him a movie, like maybe even just give him like team up movies. You know what I mean? Give him a movie with Spider-Man. Like that would be cool. Like an Andrew Garfield, not even Tom Holland, you know, and that's possible with Deadpool. If you go to Ryan Reynolds and say, hey, look, we're gonna do a team up movie with you and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, you know, figure out a story for that. Like, what do you want to do? Like, Deadpool has such a freedom when it comes to stories and writing and directions that you can take them. And I think if you were to just kind of lean into that rather than just plopping him straight into the MCU and having him in the Avengers movies and cameoing in Spider-Man movies and whatever, like, I think just having him kind of separate would work the best. And I think after Secret Wars, like, having him kind of jokingly say, like, look, yo, like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm going back to my universe, or I'm going to this universe or whatever. Like, I'm doing my own thing. Like, I think that's the best thing that they could do for Deadpool. I think having him kind of fully disconnected with other plans would be the best way to go. So I'm gonna do one more just because I do have some good ones in here, and then we'll start wrapping it up. I am fisting the fuck out of this cup. All right, last one, and I think this might have been the one. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, this is a crazy one to end off on, but we'll see. The Captain America trilogy is better than the following: the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan, that is Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, the Iron Man trilogy, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War arguably could be one of the best trilogies in the MCU. I don't think that's a hot take at all, in my opinion. But I do think it is better than Guardians. I do think it's better than the Christopher Nolan movies. And I do think it's better than Iron Man. I won't lie, I also had written on here the Sam Raimi trilogy, but that might be a little bit too far. I'm planning on rewatching those movies, so I'm not going to say that quite yet. But maybe in the next episode, you see me say, like, I watched them, and yeah, I stand by it, or I don't. Anyway, yeah, that's my hot takes, and that's all my thoughts about the new MCU and everything that's coming up and everything that's been announced. It's been probably a little bit longer of a video, so shout out Kevin for editing everything and getting it out on time. I really do appreciate that. Shout out to everybody for sticking around and you know, giving me the time of day to do this and talk about a bunch of nerdy shit. So yeah, I hope everyone's having a great Monday, and if you're not watching this on Monday, I hope you're having a great day overall. I'm gonna go eat or something and figure something out. I need to turn this fan on. I'm really hot. So yeah, peace out, guys. I guess whatever. Bye. Fuck you. Peace.